Hey, welcome to Fat Mascara. I'm Jess.
I'm Jen. It's a podcast about beauty culture. Hello, everyone.
Hey. All right, listen. I wasn't here last week, but I was devouring the conversation you and Garrett had about the Sephora birthday parties from that BOF article, Business to Fashion.
Yes, episode 564. So just last week.
Yeah. So just a little recap. The BOF article is about how it's not like an overwhelming trend by any means. So let's calm down. I'm sorry, I need to take a sip of my Diet Coke. This is things are getting serious.
She's verklempt.
I want to put things in context. I want to put things in perspective. But there is a moment right now in the culture, as we know, I'm not telling you guys things that you don't know here. Kids are really hopped up on skincare. They're really hopped up on beauty. It is the new drug of choice, right? That's probably
wow. How about the new hobby of choice?
Yeah, hobby. No, yeah. Drug is wait, rewind, guys, rewind.
Okay.
No, but I just mean they're excited. They are. I guess what I meant to say was intoxicated, but I mean in that way when you're young and it's something is so exciting where you're I need more, I love it. You've never seen something like this before.
Beanie Babies.
Yeah, the Beanie Babies, the Pokemon, remember the Tamagotchi Go? You have to have it, okay? And it's collect them all. So it makes sense that people would want to have a birthday party. When I was younger, I had a birthday party. This was called Birthday Fantasy. Shout out Route 9 if you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. It was like a paint me mine. What's it called? Color me mine kind of place.
I don't know what that means.
When you paint your own pottery.
Oh, okay, cute. All right.
That was hot. You mentioned bowling. Garrett mentioned McDonald's. That is definitely one of the OG birthday places. I loved your discussion because it was it ran the spectrum of there's something in it for the creativity of it, the excitement, the scavenger hunt of somebody's mom did a scavenger hunt at Sephora, but then also you're also in a store and there's a moment where maybe birthday parties shouldn't be at a store, right? But then Garrett was oh, every place is
we went back and forth and back and forth, yes.
Yeah, it was really well-rounded. A perspective I wanted to share was how some parents might perceive, depending on the age. A lot of parents, I remember being in school, and some parents, I was super into beauty. We've talked about this, so hardcore. When I was in 8th grade, I remember I won't say her name, she really shamed me in front of my classmates. And she's nice look, because I was wearing a full face of makeup. And then she's your mother let you out like that? Super embarrassing, because I was wearing a full face of makeup with black eyeliner and everything. Some adults are not comfortable with young people and makeup in that relationship, whether it's their own feeling or it's religious or they have, I don't know where it comes from. So I wonder about how some parents might feel about that environment.
Clearly, you mean the ones hosting or the ones that are my kid's going here? Yeah, because it runs the gamut. Every parent has a different view on when these things should start and what is okay for kids and what isn't.
And I'm not saying that a beauty store would do a whole black eye makeup look on a 12-year-old girl. But I felt when I was in the chair in that class, I remember feeling, wow, she just projected a whole lot of...
Shamed. You felt shamed.
I personally felt very uncomfortable, but I felt wow, that's you.
Oh, good. I'm glad you realized that it was her issue.
Yeah, I remember thinking...
It's also why you got to talk to a kid like that? It's not your problem.
I was disgusted.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, I remember feeling disgusted because my mom was very she's super liberal and cool about that element of expression and stuff.
Yeah.
She was she bought the stuff for me. But I think parents might come to the table with, I'm not saying the extreme reaction of, oh, that's not okay, but I think it shows that there's a very wide swath of attitudes about...
Yeah, we're in a time where the attitudes are sort of changing, but that doesn't mean everybody is okay with the direction the culture's going.
And there's a lot of question. I think I don't think it's necessarily, I don't like this. I think there's a lot of question marks about when's the right time? Is this okay? How do I help my child navigate this? How do I relate to other parents who are super okay with it? And should I be okay with it? What do I say? How much do I spend? Is the $40 okay? Is $20 okay?
Yeah.
Do I let them have my stuff? Do I have to be like this? Or like, let's say you're a 12-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid or a 15-year-old kid, whatever. What if they're not that into beauty, but everybody else is? Like, do they have to play along? Like, it's so interesting. I don't know. I think it's different than like everybody painting a teacup or a pinch pot. It's like now they have to know what glycolic acid is. It's so, to be cool. I don't know.
If you take it away from the intimacy and the personal nature of beauty, then it's just like any other trend. But it's not that. You're putting stuff on your skin, and there's all that heavy American, like puritanical, sexualizing, you're too young kind of stuff going along with it.
It's not a McDonald's.
And guess what? In real time, we get to watch Jess go through this with her daughter. Like, you're about to enter, because, you know, she's turning 5 this week. It's like, she's not yet there, but very soon will be. And you have a unique view on it because of what you do for a living. It's going to be interesting.
It's really, I think the whole thing is super complicated. Yeah, because it's not like, oh, I don't really want to play. You know, I'm not into basketball. It's like, it's your person.
Yeah.
You can't really run away from it.
Yeah. Well, it's a conversation we've been having all year that we're going to continue to have and get opinions on. So.
Yeah, fascinating topic.
Meanwhile, we all know if back in the day there was Sephora when Jessie was growing up, absolutely her birthday party would have been there.
I remember there was a New York Times article my mom gave me. It was like, Sephora's coming to America. I was like hyperventilating. They came to New York.
Did you know what it was?
My mom gave me the article, and it had the whole thing about how it was coming from France. And she read it first. It was in the style section. I was like, we gotta go.
So this was probably like 98, because I remember I got hired in 2000, and I was like one of the first group of employees of Sephora of the North America.
My friend Jared and I went to one, I think it was in the Garden State Plaza Mall.
Garden State, that was one of the first 14.
And that was the first one I went to, and it was
and you were
everything.
Like,
everything
home.
I wanted and more.
Yeah. Call us. Tell us what you think. I want to, like, leave a ranting message. If you're like screaming to yourself right now as you're talking because you have thoughts on this, call us and just leave a message. You don't even have to say, just start talking. It's fine. 646
Yeah, we'll know what you're talking about. You don't even need to start. You don't have to introduce yourself. Just go.
If you're a grandparent, if you're a parent, if you yourself are young, or you are like young enough to talk about this, but like it started when you were a tween, I want to hear what you're thinking. Jess wants to hear what you're thinking.
All right, I'm doing a little Fat Mascara Q&A here. And the question asker is sadly anonymous. I saw this pop up on the interwebs, and I thought it was a brilliant question because I've been here before. Here's the question. What do you do when you go to a salon for a long time, you have a relationship with your pro, whether it's a colorist or a hairstylist, and then you've got a roving eye. You want to see somebody else. Okay.
At the same salon.
Okay, this is kind of a little specific question, but like if you've been somewhere for a while, maybe you want to try another colorist or maybe you want to try another stylist. How do you do this without making it awkward? Now, if you are, I think, a polite person, this is a concern. If you are an empath, I think this is a concern, okay? It's weird. It's weird to jump around. Or even like, let's say you want to leave your salon for a few months.
That actually, to me, seems easier than this scenario.
And then you come back and then your hair is a different color.
Oh, yeah. And then you'd be like, you're shameful. You're like, sorry, that was a bad idea.
You're like a dog with a tail between its legs. It's so weird. My hair's a different color. Oh, I went away.
No, you have to be honest. Always be honest. But this one about staying in the same salon.
That's even weirder, right?
It's tricky.
Yes, this is a term I heard once and I love it. If you're like a hair hopper, how do you do this without being shady. I asked Jacob Schmidt, he's a senior colorist at Sally Hirschberger Nomad. I've worked with Jacob for a long time. He's a great guy, and he's a very talented colorist. I asked him, how do you handle this? Because he is a sensitive
Did he think
soul.
you were like, was this your passive-aggressive way of going to another colorist?
I actually wonder that. I wonder that when I asked him.
So just saying, if I had a friend who wanted to go to another colorist here. No, he knew it. He knows your job.
I was kind of weirded out when I was talking to him. No, he's a very sensitive soul. He's a good guy, and he's a great colorist. And I knew that he would have the right answer for this. I love what he had to say. He said, it's one of those things where like you have to keep it quick, but you have to have a conversation. He's like, basically, don't make it weird. Don't skulk around the salon.
Don't go to the front desk and say, next time book me with Bob instead of Jake.
I was thinking...
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that.
He said, have a quick conversation. Be like, oh my God, I love what you've done. I'm going to try out. I'm going to work with Bobby. I'm going to see Bob. No, it's like a breakup. It's like a breakup. He said, you can approach
I'm hyperventilating, just picturing our poor listeners talking in the mirror to their, having this conversation.
No, just say, just like, I love what you've done. He said, he goes like, make quick and be simple. He said, just say, I love what you've done. I'm going to see Bobby next time. And I love what you've done, but I'll see you at the salon. Just, this is my little script.
You don't have to give a why? Why,
You
Bobby?
do not have to give a why. He said it's professional, but he said not saying something is worse. Avoiding the person is worse. Acknowledge next time you go to the salon, acknowledge. Say, hi, how you doing? Oh my God,
Jake.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever. The weather's great, whatever. Small talk is great. Move on.
As I go over to Bobby's chair.
Yeah, he goes, if you don't acknowledge it, the person is going to wonder what they did.
But don't you think, let's say Jake gets this, you say this to Jake, don't you think he's still wondering? There's definitely going to be a colorist or stylist who will then be like, oh, why? So you should have an answer prepared just in case.
He didn't say that, but he just felt like it's much worse to just be ghosted.
Agree.
And he said,
you're right.
If
it's
they
like a
do
romance. It's like a breakup.
Yes. And he said, he said it does hurt. He did say this. He goes, it does hurt when somebody leaves. But he said, it's always, any good salon, they always want to keep the client. He's like, it's better to have the client in the salon. So it's better to have them in the salon. He goes, and if they do come back, and I love this, he goes, they're going to try extra hard to keep you.
Okay, 2 quick points though. I know they want to keep you at the same salon, but if it's one of those salons where they're independent contractors and renting chairs, it's not like Jake is still going to get a cut of when Bobby takes over.
That is fair, and I did not bring that up. That is a very fair.
1 point. 2 points. I would still go into this conversation, keeping it short, like you said, but having a why ready just in case. I always like to practice out, script myself.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the why could just be as easily as I just want to change things up. Just want a new experience, not negating the work of the other person. Because that's normal. Life gets stagnant sometimes.
That's good. And he said there are always clients like that. He's like, where you could be the best in the world, but people just like to change. They like to hop.
Yeah, think about how we do body washes and skincare. And our shampoo is working amazingly. And we're like, time for a new shampoo. That's just human nature.
Yeah.
So just have that ready in the back of your mind as my add-on to Jake's excellent advice.
Yeah. Have it in your back pocket. Don't skulk around and be kind and realize your deal. These are relationships. This is you're not at the CVS checkout. This is a real person. He was like, we put our heart and soul into our work. So it is a real relationship.
And if they end up reacting poorly, well, all the more reason that you're going over to Bobby instead, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That is a tough etiquette one.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. What else we got going on this week?
I mean, big business desk news. Okay, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. This week, the big business desk news, Estée Lauder Companies is going to lay off between 5,800 and 7,000 employees. That is between 9 and 11% of its workforce. Why? Well, the company's second quarter sales dropped 6%. And another figure that is really hit them where it hurt, their skincare revenues, that's their top business, is down 12%. It's not a happy season at Estée Lauder Companies.
Can I just speak to the larger idea of, this might sound timely if you live in the United States, cutting employees as a move forward and for progress. I get when budgets get big and when you trim a budget, it helps show that you're making a change, which obviously is what Estée Lauder Companies wants to do here for their shareholders. But you still have to innovate and do programs. And no, I'm not speaking to the federal workforce, but maybe I am. I can't get that out of my head. But like cutting is good. I agree this is a way to move forward and free up and be more nimble and get rid of bureaucracy. And it shows your investors and it shows your constituents like you're doing something different. But you still have to do the thing that the innovation. So like this is good, but like also Estée Lauder, what new fun things can we do? Like they have some brands that need like a refresh. You can't just be cost cutting.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are talking about. Which brands are going to really suffer the most? Which brands are going to be innovating? They've had some buzzy campaigns. We're going to talk about one in a few minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, they have a huge portfolio.
I want to see what's next. But I do feel badly because I know we have a lot of beauty industry people who listen to this podcast. And I know it's always, listen, hey, we worked in magazines for a while. We know all about cutting jobs. It's never fun. So,
it's really painful. I'm curious where those jobs are going to come from. Are they going to come from like the retail floor? Are they going to come from the executive suite? Are they going to come from the travel, the duty-free folks, because travel is going to be hit so hard? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there'll be some people looking for jobs too in the beauty industry. So if you work at other companies, some talent will be out there. But
yeah,
all right. Oh,
I know.
I hate a job cut.
It's so painful. It's so painful. So thinking of everyone who is going to be impacted by that. Well, in other Lauder news, what they are betting on is Paulina Porizkova, bringing her back. That is one hire that they're betting on. They're bringing her back. She was an Estée Lauder face years ago, about 30 years ago. She is going to be the face of a revitalizing Supreme Plus franchise in the spring. It's funny. This reminds me of when they brought Isabella.
Wait, say the name again. Revitalizing what?
Supreme Plus franchise.
Revitalizing Supreme Plus.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, I want it. That just sounds fun. I don't know. It's like a vitamin. It's skincare. It's like revitalize Supreme Plus. It's just hyperbolic. I like it.
This reminds me of the Isabella Rossellini moment for Lancome.
Yes.
I mean, Isabella was, I believe she was, I'm going to say like, let go from Lancome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, she would say that. When I interviewed her once for a story, oh, yeah. The publicist was sitting next to her, just like holding her head in her face, like because, she says what she thinks. Isabella.
Yeah, she's definitely a truth teller. But I don't believe that Paulina was, it doesn't seem like it was as dramatic. But it's like they're bringing her back, kind of like remember her, resurrecting the face. And she's outspoken as well. We had her on the podcast, Paulina. She's, the past 5 years, she's made a big splash for, posing very unfiltered photos of herself, her book. I think it's a really smart hire. And Lauder, Lancome, even Shiseido, we did something with a year or so ago. They're all speaking to the customer that the beauty industry has forgotten. I think they're realizing this is a loyal customer. This is a customer that's looking for anyone to speak to them. Am I right?
Do you want to spell out who this customer is, Jess?
Like a 40-plus customer. I mean, not even 40-plus, like 50-plus, 60-plus. They're looking for somebody to recognize that they are a viable customer.
I was just figuring, you hear women all the time like, man, I don't get catcalled anymore. You complain about it, And then you
this is like a very beautiful, Paulina Porizkova is a really,
no, I know,
insanely sexy woman who speaks her mind.
Yeah. To your point, though, of last two weeks ago with Demi Moore and how the middle-aged woman is having a moment, it goes with that. It's like, wait, no, we are still paying attention. So I wouldn't say they're forgotten by all aspects of culture.
No. But I think the beauty industry has this sort of interchangeable roster of new faces that they're working with this brand. Oh my God, they're working with this brand. Oh wait, look, they've just popped up with this brand. And now you have this woman who really we haven't seen in a long time. And probably the last time we saw her was with Estée Lauder. So it's there's a real nice continuity about it.
Yeah. Okay. So she's back at
it feels like it's, it stands for something. I'm sure Paulina Porizkova has worked with other brands besides Estée Lauder, but there's a nice kind of bookend to it, the same way with Isabella Rossellini, that it feels real. I mean, Lancome's done that too with like Julia Roberts.
So now we need Calvin Klein to bring Brooke Shields back.
Oh my
God.
God.
What else do we need for that era?
She is great. Have you like paid attention to what she's doing lately?
Maybelline can get Tyra. I'm like, say, what other supermodels can we get full circle moments with their brands?
Oh, you mean CoverGirl and Tyra? You want to rewind?
It's CoverGirl and Tyra.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then
Cindy and Revlon.
Okay. I'm trying to think of some other ones.
I feel like you've just sorted out all the cosmetics. Just send out the paperwork.
No, but for a long time there were models that you just knew. You know what? The analogy for today is back then it was like a model. You knew which brand a model was with because they were the spokesperson, the face of. Now it's more that like the celebrity or face of has their own brands.
They have their own brand, or they work with a brand for maybe like a 1-year contract. And then it's done, or they do like a collaboration and then it's done.
Yes.
So I don't know. This just actually feels really nice. And I like that they're speaking to that customer.
Yes.
I think it's cool.
So she's the 40 plus. She's like older millennial, Gen X.
I mean, I think Paulina is speaking to a customer that's probably older than 40 plus, but.
Yeah. All right. Estée Lauder, doing things.
She has a very loyal audience. If she has a lot of engagement too. If I look on her Instagram, people love her. People love her. People who aren't even into beauty love her. They just love what she stands for. All right, moving on. Drugstores, they need a makeover. They need a makeover. There was a time when you can go into a drugstore and you'd be good for a half an hour. It'd be a half an hour of being hypnotized, a meditative moment for you to just discover what's new in beauty. Now, not only is it all locked up, the lighting is atrocious. The products, they're not even up to date. You're not even like getting the newest launches. And everything is like it's not aesthetically pleasing. Well, our friends at Business of Fashion wrote about this, about why drugstores still aren't beauty hubs. Well, they were. They once were. There was a time where you could go into a drugstore and you would see these beautiful end caps where like L'Oreal Paris would be talking about their newest color story. Maybelline would have a big end cap with all these little testers and it would be like candy shop. And you would have all of these thematic stories, color stories that would rival like what MAC was doing or what Estée Lauder was doing, whatever premium brand that they're parallel at the time. Not quite the same as what a DTC brand is doing, where they're not doing these like monthly color stories. But it really was an area where you could play and get lost and actually test products. Somehow that changed. And I can't even really tell you when, but I can really tell you a little bit about why. In this article, they mention about how the products, like the security has become a big issue, but that's pretty recent. Mm-hmm. And they talk about how some of these companies like CVS, they got bought up by more healthcare companies and beauty became, and like interactivity became less of a priority.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's a huge opportunity that is lost here because the drugstore beauty companies or the mass beauty companies, they have so much innovation. Talk about innovation. They have so much money. They used to come up with great products, or they still have great products, but people don't talk about it anymore. I'm talking about color here, not skincare, guys.
I'm thinking about Walmart and Target, though, in this case, and even Ulta sometimes, because some of these, what we used to call drugstore brands, which are really mass brands, they still have that footprint in the larger retailers like
Target.
Walmart. Yes. However, because they're the hang tag products, I like to call, I don't know what the official word is. We could have someone screaming from the audience telling me what it is. But because some of those brands are the ones that go on the little silver metal sticks that poke out and they slide on, they get merchandise differently. Like at Target, there's the two beauty areas. There's the hang tag area, which isn't as bad as when you go to like Walgreens or CVS and one of those. The hang tags still are a little bit nicer, but it gets all janky and messy. Nobody wants to shop by bringing like a plastic clamshell off of a silver stick. You know what I mean? Like
you don't find that aspirational?
Not only do I not find it I get it though, because those little hang tags have like a little advertisement on them. You can see the entire box's copy right there facing forward for you. It's easy to merchandise because having worked at like Sephora, like, oh my God, keeping those things clean and keeping the bottles vertical, it's impossible. So I get like if you want a lower price point and you're at a mass retailer, this is the easy way to turn over when newness comes in and the calendar changes and the new products come in. So like, I think they're still doing okay at those retailers, but yeah, everybody's got to go pick up their migraine medicine and they want to have a little moment while they're waiting for it to come in to like peruse.
Yeah, I feel like there's such a lost opportunity there. And like,
do you have the solution?
I don't have a solution yet.
All right, we'll
I don't
work
have
on
a
it.
solution, but I just feel like it's so dreadful when I go into some of these drugstores and I want to treat, I want to surprise, I want to see what's new from like brands that have makeup that can go toe to toe with some of the luxury brands. And I don't see the newness. I'm not inspired.
Yeah. Okay. So our last news item, I'm going to go to Science Corner. But by the way, I feel like Science Corner is just like Tech Corner now, but they're one and the same. So let's go over to Tech Corner. There is a new nail product that can basically be your business card in your nails. These are called chipped nail tips. Chipped is the brand name.
Oh God, I saw this.
At first I thought, oh, they're little tiny QR codes. And then I'm holding it. So if someone held their camera up to it, then they go to my website and that's it. No, it's an NFC chip, like a near field communication chip. Those ones that don't need electronics or anything, almost like when you're tapping your phone to pay for something. That is embedded in like an acrylic kind of press-on looking nail. And so if you're talking to someone and you're like, oh, I'm so-and-so, and they're like, oh, I want to get in touch with you. Instead of like having to take their phone and type stuff in or whatever, you hold your nails up to their phone and it automatically brings up your contact information and everything, and they can save it, your socials, all of that. All it takes on the user's part is to put the nails on, open the app, and program your little, like, it looks almost like a LinkedIn bio kind of thing. Like, here's my website, here's my Instagram.
Do you have to get these done, or are these like...
No, you can put them on yourself. I mean, you could get them done. And then the chip in there, through the app, you've tied it to that, and now whenever you meet someone, you can hold them up. I feel like if you're in the beauty biz and you roll in and do this with your nails, you automatically win whatever social situation you're in. Like, that's just super cool to me.
It's giving Gattaca.
100%. I think a lot of beauty things these days are giving, like, the future is here. Do we want it? Do we want it? You don't want it. She's speechless.
It feels like a Shark Tank idea.
Okay.
And it's like if somebody told me this idea, I'd be like, that's too crazy. It's too crazy.
You're not going to invest.
I think there's a client for it. I think it's definitely, there is a client for it. I don't know if I personally am the client.
I'm going to make a call right now. I think this is the beginning of where we're going to see NFCs even more integrated into humans going forward. As weird as that sounds to everybody, there's going to be a time when you literally can just touch your finger to your friend's phone and then they know who you are. I don't know if that's because you have a microchip embedded in you like we do with our pets or an NFC. The thing that gives me pause here that I think is going to be interesting is all the people who are like, I don't want toxins in my beauty products. Instead, let me put a near field communication chip on my body at all times.
Yeah, I think...
I'm not, and there's no danger to these, by the way. I'm not saying there's like an electromagnetic field that... But it does weird people out to have that on their person at all times, I think. To me, it's like, oh, interesting. We'll see where this is going. But I do think it's not going to be like everybody's going to be getting these right away, but I think it's showing how people can use this technology.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting.
But it's not going to be on Jess's nails.
Whoever came up with it I think they're very innovative.
You know what, guys? If you work in beauty and you do the trade show routes, Jess and I have a friend right now. Well, she owns Hugimals. You guys know that brand.
Yeah.
And she's at all the trade shows right now. And if you work in this business, you know, you have to meet people over and over all day long. Get a set of these tips, hold up your nails at the trade show, and they have all your information. You don't have to pay for business cards. Done and done. Everybody's got a phone.
I was at a trade show the other day, and it was like, you have to wear this big dorky pass. So dorky, totally ruins your outfit. Everyone's wearing great outfits. And then you have this lanyard, and you're wearing this huge QR code, and everyone's look sucks. It's just like so horrible.
That's why you need chipped nails.
And yeah, and then you take your phone, like, oh, let me get your information, and then
it's not a cool interaction at all.
It's not aesthetic. I would have preferred the chipped nail. But then again, everyone would have had to have
had a mani on and a look.
Right. So I think it would be really cool if this technology, I don't know whoever founded the chip nail founder, if you're listening, maybe you could hook up with the
name tag
the name tag circuit and do like cute pins, headbands, something.
Okay, I want it to be it still might need to be on lanyard because what are you going to do? You have a headband on? You're going to bow your head down to their phone and touch
I'll bow. Not too proud to bow.
Okay. Yeah, there's other ways to use these.
Like a cutie choker or something.
Or a ring. Put it on a ring.
A ring. I think I'm not a faux nail person.
Okay, so that's part of it.
I think that's like a big part of it for me.
Yeah, and these chips do have a tiny bit of dimension to them. So I think that's why a faux nail works because they're not exactly paper thin yet. But I'm sure they're going to be getting
and then half the time the little QR codes didn't work. So I'm like, J, like January, E, S, like it's like 45 minutes of that. So yeah, it's an efficiency thing, right? These little things.
Yeah, it's efficiency, but it's also kind of cool because like, I think it's not, people wouldn't see this everywhere. And if you did that and someone's like, hold on, let me touch your phone and you'll have my information, I'd be like, ooh, fun. The novelty would wear off quickly, though. I agree.
I would like it in a Carrie Bradshaw.
She's getting on board, guys. Listen. Here she's starting to like
a flower pin.
Oh, okay, a flower pin. An NFC chip in your flower pin. So
I'll do a flower pin.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make you a flower pin and I'll stick one of the chip nails in there and we're good to go. I'll put a link to all this in the show notes in case you like the idea of the manicure and you want to try it for yourself. Now, let's just go raise some wands, shall we?
All right, it's time to raise a wand. This one is from Marina from New Mexico. She's picking up on our conversation about setting spray.
Hi, Jess and Jen. It's Marina Hine from New Mexico. I had to pause your podcast just as soon as I heard this because I was like, oh my God, for once I have the answer. Usually I listen to you guys because you have all the answers and I cannot believe that you don't know this. A setting spray that makes things stick, that is not too matte, it is not too dewy. You still look how at the end of the day, you look how you did at the beginning of the day. And I can attest to this because I am a biologist. I will go from a massive meeting with different water managers throughout the state, and then I will go out to the desert and the forest, and I will tromp through brush, and I will sweat, and I will have to run away from poachers or wild pigs or whatever, and then I will have to go back to the office and rub elbows with, again, fancy legislators, and my makeup will look the same as it did in the morning because of Charlotte Tilbury. I'm sorry, it's expensive. It's expensive, but she's worth every single penny. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I love you guys so much. I'm so sorry that the only recommendation I have is so expensive. But I've tried other setting sprays from e.l.f. to other top shelf ones like Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte is my favorite. That is all. Okay. Have a good one. Bye.
First of all, once again, do we have the coolest listeners in all the podcast land? We do. I'm picturing Marina running around from poachers with a full beat on her face, and I love it. This reminds me of, remember when, I think it was the Urban Decay eyeliner, maybe it was Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray, actually.
All-nighter.
Yes. And the woman, she got in an accident and had to go in a hospital, went to the emergency room, like it was treated, and then picked up her phone because she looked at her face and she was like, oh my God, my makeup's so good.
That should have been an ad. That should have been like...
Charlotte needs to reach out to Marina out in New Mexico for an ad about this setting spray. I don't know if this is quite Charlotte Tilbury's branding.
She should have like a GoPro. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to direct this ad. She's in the meeting with the bureaucrats. She's Lara Croft.
Oh my God.
Are you Lara Croft? I don't know. You sound super cool. And I'm so glad you gave me that recommendation. I actually did not, in my whole search for the setting sprays, didn't try Charlotte Tilbury's. That wasn't on, I tried the one size, I tried the all-nighter, landed on this Makeup by Mario, the new one from them. Mm-hmm. Have you used Charlotte's setting spray?
No, I'm really into the Hourglass one.
Oh, right. You said the Hourglass.
But like, I got to try one size. I got to try a couple more. I think I'm just happy with the one I use. I don't like to have a ton of stuff in my apartment.
Right. But I think when this one runs out, I'm going to get the Charlotte Tilbury.
Yeah.
You know I love an outdoorsy girl, so I feel like she and I we're brethren, and I need to take this recommendation seriously.
I can't believe she's running away from wild pigs and poachers.
Yeah, cool job. Okay, so raise a wand. You know the hotline's open. The texts are open. I've been getting texts. I should read more of the texts. But honestly, I like to hear your voices, and so does everybody else. So we want you to call. Call and tell us about a product you're loving right now. Call and tell us what you're thinking of this whole Sephora teens birthday party situation. Call and give Julie an eyeliner. We're still looking for the right liquid eyeliner that does not transfer onto eyelids.
You know what I want to know more about?
Yes.
I read this great question on Reddit the other day, and I was like, it's so simple, but it's a great question.
Oh, we got homework from Jess. Go ahead.
What is the one product that you cannot believe people are sleeping on? Like the one that you just like love that people never talk about ever.
Yes.
Just like what is the
Sleeper
product?
hits.
But not even like a hit. Just that product that you use that like no one knows about, nobody ever talks about. Almost like only you know it exists.
Oh, okay. I got to think about what I have that people. It used to be Hibiclens, but I've talked about it on this podcast ad nauseum.
Yeah.
So, ooh, that's a good homework. Okay, 646-481-8182.
Like it gets no love, no glory.
Call us with that product. What is that product for you? I will not pick up the phone. Like, I know you don't want to talk to me. And I know you all get nervous because you all say you're nervous when you leave your voicemail. Don't be nervous. Just pretend you're talking to me and Jess. I know you all are basically talking in your heads to us anyway when you're listening to the podcast. Just let it out your mouth and leave us a voice message. Okay, that's my pitch for calling the phone number. Let's raise wands. What do you got for me? Yes.
What's yours?
Okay, I will go. I have been seeing, it's been happening for like a year now. Once that whole body deodorant trend came along, very quickly thereafter, people were saying they're using glycolic acid as their deodorant. Here's why it makes sense. Glycolic acid changes the pH of your skin, making it so that the bacteria aren't happy. They're not populating. They're not spreading their smell, if you will. And the bacteria's scent is what causes body odor. So if you lower the pH with the glycolic acid, you have fewer of the bacteria, you smell less. It's a different way of deodorizing your pits or wherever on your body. You don't need the aluminum, you don't need baking soda, all the other things people don't like in a deodorant or antiperspirant. So I saw that happening. I was like, man, if I put straight up glycolic acid on my armpits, that would burn. I'm already a sensitive woman. I just know this about myself. Oh, look, our cat and our dog. Your cat just woke up. My dog just woke up. Okay, back to the glycolic acid. So I was like, I want to try this trend, but I don't love just putting pure glycolic acid. I got this Surface Deep anti-odorant spray. So it's meant to be used underarms, feet, wherever you have body odor. And it basically has that glycolic acid in it.
What's the formula? Like what's the...
It's a spray. It's a clear spray in a glass jar. It almost looks like a toner, and it almost feels like a toner, but it has aloe and soothing ingredients, so it's not burny like pure glycolic acid would be. And I was like, let me just see what happens. I'm not a particularly sweaty person, but you just don't smell. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to sweat either, it does not block sweating. So you will still have a little wetness, if not wetness, but like
moisture.
Normal body, which some people like because they feel like, okay, I need to get my sweat out. This is the way the body should be working. But I've been hinting to Eric for his feet because it's really good for stinky feet too. So you can spray it on your feet. You can spray it on your underarms. It's clear.
Okay.
It's just a new way to deodorize.
People put like antiperspirant on their feet.
Yeah, lots of people do. But that's also balmy, and some of them are slippery, or they might have like silicones or glycerin or baking soda, and then you're all slipping and sliding in your socks. Maybe some people like that. I don't. This dries quickly, and it's like nothing's on your skin, but then you just don't smell. Like literally, you just don't smell.
That's a nice idea.
Right. Anyway, if you like that idea.
Where did you find it?
Well, this is online, Surface Deep Anti-Odorant Spray, but there are a lot of the new whole body deodorants that people have been seeing. Lumi, Secret has them now, Dove. A lot of them work in a similar fashion with a alpha hydroxy acid that is there not to kill the bacteria, but to make the environment less friendly for the bacteria, so there will be fewer of them.
Okay.
That's how it works. So it works with your microbiome, if you will. I don't know. People like this new way of deodorizing, and I've been seeing a lot more of these kind of products. So I was like, let me try some out. See, and I don't want to bomb. I'm sorry. I don't want to stick my fingers into something and spread it on my underarm. No, thank you.
How do you think somebody knows that they need a body deodorant or body?
I think a lot of people can still smell their own smell. You're not immune always to that. Or maybe you have a friend that what are you smelling your breath right now?
I'm smelling my body.
If you smell, you must tell. This was how Jess and I became true dear friends. There was a moment.
It was like a blood brothers pact.
It was like, I think we were in a bathroom. I don't know. It was the moment that I knew our friendship.
We were in a car. We were in a car.
Our friendship had entered real friendship territory, not just like, oh, let's do this podcast acquaintance territory. We both said to each other, I have this fear that I have bad breath, and you must tell me if I ever do. And so if you smell, you must tell.
I remember the conversation.
Do you remember? Me too. It was like, it must have been 10, 12 years ago at this point. But anyway, Surface Deep Anti-Odorant Spray. If you're not happy with your deodorant, you want to just try something new, a new way of deodorizing, raise a wand.
If it smells, you must tell. Okay. All right. So mine is not a beauty product, but mine is a beautiful object. Mine is based in the world of beauty. So I bought something beautiful from my home.
Are you leaning back for me to look at it?
Yeah.
Is it that green square vasey thing?
Yeah, I bought these orchids.
Oh, the flowers that are in them. Okay,
yes.
Go on.
So I've had orchids before in my home. Like I'm not like new to an orchid, but I wanted flowers in my home. And as many of you pet owners, particularly cat owners, might know, a lot of flowers are not safe for cats. Most flowers are not. If you Google, like,
and
we
plants.
Yes, and plants. We go to Trader Joe's all the time, and like I'll see things and I'll quickly look them up. Toxic, mildly toxic.
I think I've given you a plant as a gift, and I definitely had to do homework before I handed it over.
Yes, and yeah, I know you would, but like mostly no one does. Like if they give a gift as a plant, because they don't know, and they're not being nasty. They just don't know. I wanted something that like, and I don't want to buy like, and I'm really bad with plant care. So I wanted something that was here all the time. The world of artificial plants is pretty wild, okay?
As in negative?
Flowers, yeah.
Okay.
It's varied. Well, I'm proud to say that at Moda, we carry one of the best faux florists brands.
Wait, those aren't real?
They're not real. We carry this brand that is like absolutely exquisite faux flowers and plants.
They look very real.
Very real, very real. So I just want to shout out this one brand because if you are into plants but like can't have them, it's called Diane James. They are definitely a treat item.
Well, they're not going to die.
They're not going to die. So it's like I do things by cost per wear, cost per day, cost per glance,
cost per diem,
cost per. But it was like the nicest treat for the home that I've gotten in a while. And they're 3 little white orchids, and my cat is incredibly confused because she keeps on going by.
She thinks they're real.
She thinks they're real, but there's no
They
payoff
look
for her.
very real. Wait, your entire home is becoming like safe-proofed. You don't have real candles. You have faux candles that look real. Please see.
It's like Uncanny Valley or whatever.
Now we don't have a real plant. And for good reason always. One was for like air quality. This one is for your pet health. What else can we fake in your house?
We have a faux fur quince.
You have faux
blanket.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to get some like fake fruit too. One of those fake fruit balls soon.
Oh, my mom had an epic hanging fake fruit bowl in our kitchen growing up.
I love
had 3 tiers in that wire mesh basket. And I used to make fun of it to no end. And they were paper mache fruits. And I was just like, why, Mom?
I'm going to get one of those fake cakes. You know those fake cakes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What else can we put in our house?
So it's just like a fake, like a dollhouse. Like just like
those things were so hot in the 70s and 80s and they went away because it was seen as tacky. Are we going to see a resurgence of the faux?
I like tacky things. I really love tacky things. So
well, those flowers do not look tacky. They look like real
these are
orchids.
not tacky. These are not tacky.
Beautiful. Diane James. So raise a wand to her.
Yeah, we sell them at Moda. She also does a collaboration with Erin too. But we don't do that. So pet owners, check it out.
So our normal sign off is get your beauty sleep. But I also have to add on our listeners sign off from last week, which is be good. And if you can't be good, be careful. I don't know if you heard Garrett and I like dying over this woman saying that. No, I can't change our. That's somebody else's special.
That's really good.
We just want you to get your beauty sleep.
That's
get
like
your beauty
something
sleep.
that like that's a good thing to say to somebody. I like
It's
that.
so good. All right, get your beauty sleep. We'll see you on Friday.
We hope you enjoyed the show. It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us, or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Razor One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.